Good evening, everyone. Welcome back. Thursday, the 5th of February, 2026. You might notice whenever I read a date out, I always have a look up in the top right-hand corner because I never know what day it is, let alone what date it is. Good evening, everyone. Love to you all. Thank you for joining me on this Thursday evening. We'll give it a few moments for people to start populating the room. 353 already in and climbing by the second. Good evening, everyone. Tonight is going to be a little bit different in many respects. You have me to yourself this evening. Richard is winging his way, I believe, to London for the event on Saturday, which we will be covering here live from 12:30 p.m. this coming Saturday. Now, as you can see from the title of this evening's video, we're going to talk about justice, what justice means to us as a nation, what justice means to the British people. But before I get into that, I want to tell you something. I want to ask you something as well. How many of you, like me, since Labour came to power in particular, have been affected, not just physically, you know, in my case, having to leave the country and move away to feel safe, but mentally as well? How many people out there have been mentally affected by this evil government? Now, my guess is quite a few. A number of people that I speak to feel that they've been living in some kind of bad dream. And I can truthfully say that in many respects, that is how I feel and how my wife and probably many of my family feel as well. Good evening to you all in the chat. I'm going to highlight a few before we get into them a little bit later. Good evening. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Yes, and please hit like as well, would be much appreciated. So how many of you, like me, how many of your families' lives have been affected, not just physically, but mentally as well, our mental well-being as a nation? And I've been thinking about it a lot today. And I think the one thing that British people like, the one thing that we've always been very good at demanding, is justice. It's not cricket, is it? Not to give people the justice that they're due. And the British people, in my humble opinion, it's my opinion at least, are due a hell of a lot of justice. And there are a lot of people that owe us right now. Now, watching Keir Starmer today and yesterday, his hand shaking at the dispatch box. I mean, this is a man that clearly knows he is in deep, deep trouble. I can't imagine why else the man would stand there with his hand shaking. The tyrant Keir Starmer is finally on his way out, but that is not the end of our battle with him or this appalling Labour government, this vile Labour government. Ladies and gents, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you my little speech this evening, tell you what's on my mind, and then we'll get into the chat and we'll crack on with what you guys have to say. So as I say, look, you know, it's not the end of our battle with Labour. Never mind the waspy women, the broken promises, never mind the farmers, never mind what is done to our senior citizens, never mind the taxes or the betrayal of our culture, of our freedoms, the betrayal of our veterans, the chasing of our veterans, never mind all the U-turns and all the lies, never mind the two-tier policing and the injustice, the two-tier justice. And guess what? As far as I'm concerned, never mind your bloody Peter Mandelsons or your Jeffrey bloody Epstein's. Utter bloody wrong uns, each and every single one of them. You see, for me, as I said, the British people, well, we want justice, proper justice. And the British people have long memories, and this isn't going away for Starmer or his front bench. This isn't going away for every single vile Labour MP who voted against a child rape gang inquiry. Think about that. I mean, come on, who would do such a thing? These are parents and grandparents we're talking about here, but none of them had the conscience or the moral fibre, the moral backbone to vote for an inquiry into the rape of our young girls. You see, Labour's problems, well, they're not going to go away anytime soon. And until we get proper justice, until we get justice, let's take this right back, shall we? For a moment, let's take this right back. Excuse me. We want justice for those little angels of Southport and the victims of tyranny that followed. Proper justice, people who were jailed at the hands of Starmer, Yvette Cooper and this Labour government. We want justice for Peter Lynch. Yes, we haven't forgotten Peter Lynch, and we never will. We will never forget what Starmer and the Labour Party has done to this nation and the people of it, sending millions of us into depths of depression that we haven't seen as a country since the darkest nights of the Second World War. We can't forgive, and nor will we forget the vile corruption at parliamentary, council, police and civil service levels, and all to protect grooming gangs in return for votes and for power. Kicking these people out, for me, well, that's never going to be enough, and it will never be justice enough for the people of our great nation. I repeat, we want justice. So for me, what does that look like? Well, the swamp has to be drained completely dry. Every single Labour MP who voted against that child grooming gang inquiry should be investigated and made to explain why they did that. What were their motivations? What were their instructions? And if it can be proven that this was against the national interest of our children, they should be prosecuted for treason. Nothing more, nothing less. And I don't care how many of them there are. People will say, oh, you can't put 500 Labour MPs on trial. Do you want to bet? We can build another prison to house each and every one of them. In addition, I want to see a fully independent inquiry set up to investigate the entire Labour front bench. Just what have they been up to and what were their long-term intentions? I believe that treason is a crime, a very serious one, and I believe there's been plenty of treasonous acts taking place in the big house. And if you think about it, the thousands and thousands of illegals arriving here, sometimes on a monthly basis, proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that these people are trying to destroy everything that we hold dear. Nobody asked for them, nobody voted for it, and very few people approve. That's more than a broken promise. That's more than a lie. That is treason. And I don't know about you guys out there. I don't think I'll ever be able to rest until justice has been done, fairly, legally, lawfully. And my message to all these people, from politicians to corrupt police officers who failed in their duty of care to our nation, well, they need to remember something. They need to remember this. Labour, Keir Starmer and all the rest of them, they will be gone. And the way things are going, my guess is sooner rather than later. And I believe the people of this country will demand that the next government, whoever that is, deals with each and every single one of you accordingly through the laws that you have clearly broken. The latest scandal to hit this stinking Labour government and its leader isn't quite the end, not just yet. But it is the beginning of the end for all of those that have betrayed us, our children, and the mental health of an entire nation. The people are coming for you all. We've had enough. We will never forget. And you're now all living on borrowed time. Surely even you must know that. We want and we will eventually get our justice. Well, that was good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. I was going to put a lot of things down tonight on paper and go through it all bit by bit. But you know what? Sometimes I think it's just best coming from the heart. Kitty is a new member. Thank you, Kitty. And thank you, Jack, as well. I really appreciate that. I want to hear from you guys tonight. Do you and your families feel that your lives have been changed, if not irreparably, but have they been changed since Labour have come into power and what they have done to us? Jamie, get them out. I'm fucking crippled by it. Good evening, Michael in South Wales. Margaret, hello, Paul. I think a lot. So do I, Margaret. Didn't get me notification again. It's the hubby that told me you were live. Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate that. It's so depressing that you have to laugh. Well, here's the thing. Here's the deal, right? That I want to kind of turn this into a positive tonight because we now are, I think for the first time in a long time, with what is slowly but surely being unveiled here. And I haven't really... Excuse me, as I said on the stream last night, I haven't really followed this Jeffrey Epstein thing too much because it's, like I said, it's the other side of the world. I know Andrew's been involved, but I've never been a fan or a follower of him anyway. I've always looked at him as a slimy, you know, he's never played any interest in my life, right? But what is slowly but surely unraveling in front of us here. Nigel Farage earlier on said it's the biggest scandal since Profumo. I'd say that makes that look like an argument in the school playground by comparison. What's unveiling here is going to be the end, is going to be the ultimate downfall of this Labour government. They can't carry on like this. And whilst many of us, I think many of us, and myself included, to be honest with you, if I'm really honest with you, I've probably been one of the main culprits of being a little bit frightened of them, of what they're capable of doing, what they're capable of doing to us and our families. Yeah, I'm a waspy woman. He discussed me. Yeah. Yeah, I've got slow mode on, by the way, tonight because I want to, you know, look, guys, as I say to you, this is your show as much as it is mine. We've got 1,500 people already watching. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is one place where we can all get things off our chest. We can get it off our chest together. You can get it off your chests in the chat, talk amongst yourselves, as long as you're polite and reasonable. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, that's absolutely fine. As long as you stay the right side of decency, you will be welcomed. Yeah, definitely affected, mentally affected and worried for the future of my kids. Graham, I haven't forgotten Southport. No, this is the thing, Graham. It's a very good point. And that is the one thing, whenever I was sitting in the car today, my wife came back from from Gatwick to Alicante this afternoon, and I picked her up, and on the way to Alicante, I was thinking about this video and what I was going to talk about, how I was going to put it over, and try and spin it in a more positive light, because the last thing that you guys need at the end of the day, listening to what's going on around the world and especially back home, you know, you don't need me coming on, piling on more pressure, right? So I thought I wanted to give it a kind of a positive spin. And this is the beginning of the end for this lot. And I look upon each and every single Labour MP. There might be one or two exceptions, I don't know, because I don't follow Labour MPs individually. I just look at numbers. I look at the numbers that voted against the child grooming gang inquiry, and that's enough for me. That will do. I don't need to see any more. I listen to their leader. I listen to the deputy leader. I look at the front bench. I listen to the Home Secretary, and that tells me all I need to know about Labour. But there may be some decent Labour MPs out there. No doubt you could probably count them on the fingers of one hand and probably still have room to pick your nose, right? But for me, this is a bunch of criminals. This is a bunch of people who have been elected fraudulently. They lied to the nation. They lied to their constituents. They failed to deliver everything they promised. And what they have delivered is misery, a mental health issue right across the country. Everyone is miserable. Everyone is unhappy. Everyone is angry. And this has really all come to a head since Labour came to power. Look, the Tories were in many respects no better. No better. But what we didn't see under the Tories, at least, let me ask you a question, would Lucy Conley have gone to prison under a Conservative government? I don't believe she would. Would Peter Lynch still be alive, God rest his soul? Yes, I believe he would. So when I think about Labour, whenever I think about this Labour government and whenever I think about Keir Starmer, the images that I cannot just get out, I just cannot get the images out of my head, is Southport. That day will live with me for the rest of my life. And the reaction of our so-called leader, our so-called Prime Minister, after the nation was left with a sense of grief and mourning, I don't think I've seen. When was the last time I saw the nation in such a sense of grief and mourning? Probably when Holly Wells and Jessica Chapman were confirmed dead after that bastard monster Ian Huntley killed them back in whenever it was, 20 odd years ago now, somewhere around that. I remember that day when it was confirmed that they had been found dead, and my daughters were a very similar age, and I broke down and sobbed like a baby when they were confirmed that they'd been murdered. And the same thing happened after Southport. And we all know that no one, apart from the person that actually wielded the knife, was ultimately guilty for what they did. He was the one that committed that crime. In my humble opinion, we should have reinstated the death penalty for that monster. In my humble opinion. Or even better, we should have given the parents of those children the final decision as to what fate he suffered. The rest of his life in prison without the possibility of parole and without any pals as well. Certainly without any boiling water to throw over prison security guards and mates inside prison where he can nip off to the mosque at half time and have a quick prayer. But I digress slightly, but I've never ever forgotten the images of Southport, and more importantly, in many respects, the reaction of Starmer and Yvette Cooper, and in general, the Labour government, who spent more time trying to blame a grieving nation and more time trying to demonise Tommy Robinson and people that were going online, people that were angry, people that were frustrated. I mean, can we just go back to the jailing of Lucy Connolly for one moment? This is a woman approaching middle age, whatever you want to call her, a young mum who had recently been bereaved, had lost a child. She just sat there and watched the slaughter of 3 beautiful, innocent children. And she was fucking angry. Like the rest of us, we were all angry. Angry like you wouldn't believe. Yes, the people that went out and rioted were wrong. The people that went out and damaged property and attacked other people were wrong. They shouldn't have done that. And they deserved to be punished in most instances. They deserve to be punished. To the extent that they were punished is very questionable and highly debatable. But they deserve to be punished. I'll accept that. But there was still no recognition from this individual, Keir Starmer. There was still no recognition of why the rioting took place and why the nation was so angry. Meanwhile, gangs of Muslim males roamed the streets armed to the teeth and were told to take their weapons back to the mosque by police officers. We all saw the video, we all saw the film. 2-tier policing was born on that day. I mean, we know it's been going on for a very long time, but that was the day that 2-tier policing was born and revealed and unveiled to the nation. And it hasn't stopped since. Timeless Essex. I'm more aware when I go out. Yeah. Kerry, they broke my brain. Buenos dias, Paul. All governments are evil. Well, look, there's the thing. We need a government, right? Because if you don't have a government, you have chaos, you have anarchy. Demolition Gamer 1. Yes, Labour government handed me a £3,750 pay cut. Many of my colleagues will be redundant soon too. Well, look, this government likes the unemployed. This government likes those that don't want to work. And that doesn't, you know, when I say that, that's not a dig at people that are genuinely unemployed. It's a dig at people who choose not to work, who choose benefits over work. Val, I have more than lockdown even. And there's a thing, Val, what a good point you bring up. I mean, this is on the back of lockdown, right? How much more can a nation's mental health take? Evening, Tina. I'm going to mute my mic while I have a sip of my tea. You don't need to hear me gargling that, do you? Yeah, it's a never-ending nightmare. But the positive side of it is that we are eventually going to come out of this. Everything comes to an end, good or bad. Everything comes to an end. And this communism-style system that we're living under right now, this smash on the head, on the back of the head of free speech and of freedom in general. The Irish comedian now, I forget his name, it slips out of my mind for the moment, was in the US Senate, was it yesterday, talking about free speech and the lack of it in the UK and how, and I believe that Donald Trump hates Starmer with a passion. Anthony, if Keir Starmer goes, the replacement PM candidates are more frightening. They are all clowns, absolutely, and they're dangerous clowns. I would say that for me, off that front bench, the only two that represent as much sinister as Starmer would be David Lammy, because I just think he's a racist and he hates us. And Shabana Mahmood. As much as I dislike Rayner and co, I don't think that they're quite as evil as Starmer. I believe Starmer is an out-and-out communist. I may be wrong about Rayner. She may be just as bad, if not worse. Robert Baileyville, mentally draining and feel like we are being replaced at a rapid pace. Can't afford nothing, even though I'm an engineer, so I wonder how people earning minimum are coping. Businesses are collapsing. Businesses are closing everywhere. I mean, look at the amount of comments that are coming through. Definitely affected, mental health down the pan, tired of it all, to be honest. It's one long bloody nightmare. Jack, my life in the UK has been wrecked by the Labour, Tories, Lib Dems and the Greens. Absolutely. I mean, you know, it's a good point, Jack, because, you know, the loonies of the loony lefty Greens. I mean, the Lib Dems and Ed Davey, they're just, I don't even know how to describe them. They're like the village idiot that comes into the pub, aren't they? And everyone just, you know, pays them lip service. Ed Davey and his bunch of loonies in the Lib Dems. And then you've got the Greens, who are just becoming the Islamic Party of Great Britain, with some lunatic in charge that thinks he can enhance the size of your breasts by whispering to them. This is the state of British politics. But like I said, going back to the positives, this is, and it will come to an end. The key here is, and this is the key, I've been doing this now for 2 years. I'm not overly educated. I often talk from the heart rather than from the head. I think one of my strengths is that I'm just ordinary. Just like most people that watch this, I'm just ordinary. And if I give you my opinion, if I'm wrong, that's fine. You can disagree. Many of you agree with what I say. Some of you agree with some of what I say, right? But I think out loud, and I treat politics like I treat my own personal life, if that makes sense. If I see a problem in front of me, I want to deal with it. If I see injustice at the side of the road or in front of me, I want to help. I want to deal with it. If I see someone being treated unfairly, I want to see that put right. This is one of the reasons why I've sided with Tommy so much over the years, because, you know, whether you like him or whether you don't, you can't deny that he's been unfairly targeted and unfairly treated by a lot of people, particularly the mainstream media and politicians. I mean, even, his name's gone out of my head, the new guy, the ex-Tory that's gone to Reform, what is his, anyway, never mind, his name's gone out of my mind. He's still slagging Tommy off, still saying we want nothing to do with that lot, nothing to do with any of them, blah, blah, blah. The guy is start raving bonkers. To speak like that, God knows how many more supporters he lost for Reform by doubling down. The biggest mistake that Reform have made since the general election, or was it before now? I can't remember. No, it was after, wasn't it? Of course, it was after. The biggest mistake that Reform have made since the general election was when Richard Tice said we don't want anything to do with that lot. And even Nigel Farage, I believe, privately has told Richard Tice that that was a big mistake. And this other goon has gone and doubled down on it again, but probably in even more harsher terms than Richard Tice did. Michael, thank you. I watched your video the other day featuring the advanced candidate for Gordon and Denton, and I have to admit he is excellent. We'll just have to agree to disagree on tactics. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I like agreeing to disagree. It's when we can't agree to disagree that we get a problem, right? Kenny, from the 25th of February, any British citizen that holds dual citizenship have to travel with both passports. No need for a passport if you travel from France in a dinghy, though. Insanity. Northwest Patriot, thank you. The Calgary, get me teeth in a minute. The Calgary plan happening before our very eyes. Yeah. Bob, I've been feeling low for 12 months or more, but I'm buzzing today for some reason. Keep well, everyone. You know what, Bob? I'm glad you said that because I kind of feel the same. Today, let me go back to what I was going to say because I digressed. I admit that I've been frightened by this government in the past and what they could potentially do to me, my family, to you guys out there, to anyone that they take a disliking to. Let's face it, we are at their mercy. And things that you never, ever dreamed of being able to happen in this country have been taking place right in front of our very eyes. 1,800 people now watching, everyone. Please give me an upvote. It would really be appreciated. Thank you so much. And if you haven't done so already, please make sure you are subscribed. So that feeling of fear, I think for many people now is slowly subsiding, slowly wearing off in the realization that they're not crazy. It's not you. It's not just you. It's not just me or my family or your family or your mates down the pub. It's not just you that feels like this country has gone completely tits up. The truth of the matter is nearly everyone feels that way, and it's not us that are in the wrong. It's them. It's not us that are the criminals. It is them. It's not us that are breaking the law. It is they. So it's actually a reason to smile. We are on the right side of history. They're on the wrong side of history. It's not us standing at the dispatch box today shaking, physically shaking with fear because they know they're about to be rumbled. I believe there's a lot more to come. And I would say this, I'll say it again, I said it earlier on. Every single Labour MP out there right now, we are coming for you. And when I say we're coming for you, I mean legally. We're going to come for you. You're not going to be in power forever. You're not going to be in power for much longer. This is the first and last time, or this is certainly the last time that 99% of you will ever walk into the House again. And when you're out, and your grubby little paws are away from power and out of reach of the CPS and the police forces, the people of this great country will come for you in the right way. You have betrayed us and you must be made to answer for it. Whether that be simple things like just sending you to Coventry. I tell you now, if you was a Labour MP and you walked into my shop, I'd chuck you out. I wouldn't serve you a packet of crisps. And you all, every single one of you, again, I go back to the vote against the child grooming gang inquiry, the child rape gang inquiry, let's call it for what it was. That's what you'll be remembered for. You'll be remembered for voting against a child grooming gang inquiry. You'll be remembered for that by your family, your friends, the people down the pub, the people that you drink coffee with on a Saturday morning and have your latte. They might not say it to your face, but we know. We know that you didn't want to deliver justice to our girls. And you'll never, ever be forgiven for it, and you'll never be forgotten for it. And the people will come after you. The country will come after you in a legal fashion because we want justice. We demand justice and we will get it one day. It may not be in my lifetime, but one day we will get it. That I promise you. Ben Habib is on LBC right now. Yeah, no doubt Nigel will say this. Yeah, some hope of that. Dino Bain rips Nigel Farage a completely new backside yesterday. Yep, get the whole lot out. They should all be voted out. Yeah, people can't relax in the UK. Exactly. Everyone's looking over their shoulder. Everyone's worried. My wife did a bus journey in Crawley yesterday. I'm sat back here at home, scared stiff. I'm on the phone to her every 5 minutes. Is everything all right? Is everything all right? Who's on the bus? Anyone following you? You can be sure that the new Labour PM will be far, far worse. Well, how much worse can they get? I think the difference between Starmer and probably the rest of his front bench, maybe with the exception of David Lammy, because I think they're very much on the same wavelength. They both hate us all. And both of them couldn't give a shit who knows it. I think the rest will at least have the brains to try and hide their hatred for us. Whereas Starmer is so arrogant, and Lammy, I'll say this about Lammy as well, Starmer and Lammy are so ignorantly arrogant, so bereft, so out of touch with humanity and the people that they're supposed to rule. I just don't think they give a fuck about what anyone thinks about them at all. I think they're shameless. But I think the other candidates at least are aware that they can only push so far. And it goes back to what I've said for a very long time. Just what have they got planned for us? Because nobody with any brains whatsoever, nobody with any brains could hope to be elected fairly and squarely, being judged by their current actions. Yeah. What shout of shite are they going to replace? Mandy, constantly observing the disgraceful state of our country and much more alert in general. Absolutely. And the whole world is aware of the state that we are in. Whenever I speak to Spanish people out here, they pretty much, to a man, to a woman, say the same thing. You know, what's happened to England? What's happened to United Kingdom? What's happened to Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales? I've got a friend at the moment in Southern Ireland. Okay, got a friend in Southern Ireland who's looking to get out, looking to move out of Ireland. He wants to come to Spain, funny enough. Looking to get out of Southern Ireland, the Republic. So it's very easy for him and his small family. He's only got a partner because obviously EU, they can just move easily, but they can't sell their house. And the reason they can't sell their house, in his words, so I'll use his words precisely, how the F am I ever going to sell my house when all I've got is a load of foreigners around me running around with machetes? His words, not mine. Nina, thank you so much. This last year or so, I've become angry, nervous, and scared of going out, and sick and tired of this sick government. When are they going to go? Well, unfortunately, Nina, I can't tell you that, but what I can tell you is I think it's going to be a lot sooner than they think. Tony, the UK is a very anxious place, very angry, anxious place. Yeah, I agree. Kathy, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate that. Champagne monologues, the entire party have proved to be liars. Look, what they've proven is that they are a bunch of people. They're a group of chancers, I'm trying to think of the terms that we would have used for people like that back in the day without using too much bad language. I mean, the word that comes to mind really begins with C and ends with S. But we won't go down that route. But these are a bunch of career criminals, really, in many respects, aren't they? They've blagged and they've lied their way into a job. They don't give a shit, do they? They really don't give a shit. And these hard leftists that we now have in the Labour Party, from top to bottom, and in the Greens and in the Lib Dems, they're all pretty much the same, aren't they? The one thing that they have in common is a dislike for the indigenous people, for our culture, for our history. That's the one thing that gels them. They hate Britain. And their idea of what Britain should look like is a completely new invention. So it's their aim is to completely reinvent the country that gave the world pretty much everything worth having. They want to reinvent that. Thank you again, Nina. Paul, what makes me so mad is that there are still people out there still don't get it. Yeah, that is one of the biggest frustrations for all of us, I'm sure. John, thank you, John. Ben and Advance UK, please God, reform voters, think. Bess Black, thank you, Bess. Bess, I was looking for your channel. Can you pop the name of your channel in the chat, please? Reformation of the Tory party, not grassroots, just old weeds in a new bucket. Couldn't have put it better myself. What a great way of putting it. Look, you know, again, for any reform supporters watching this tonight, nobody wanted reform to succeed more than I did. And let's just say I didn't turn my back on reform for no good reason. Cram Master, letting Tommy spend 9 months in solitary for a civil matter. Exactly. Carl, Paul, just a matter of time now for that clown. Yeah, it is just a matter of time for that clown. Absolutely. Well said, Paul. Prosecute the far left for treason. And look, treason is a crime. Thought you couldn't be done for treason anymore. Well, I don't know about the terminology treason, but you know, this is what they're talking about nicking Peter Mandleson for. You know, giving away state secrets, etc. Allegedly, look, it's an offence that basically could be called treason, right? You could put it all under that one barrier. Oh, here we go. Michael, Epstein was Israeli Mossad, your friends. Okay. Cheers, Michael. Thank you for that, mate. Look, frankly, I couldn't give a flying toss, right, whether Epstein was an Israeli Mossad, was a Russian spy, was a Chinese bot. None of them are my friends. My friends is the United Kingdom. He knew about Mandleson and didn't care. The bastard hates children, obviously, eh? Well, he's prepared to send ours to war for Russia. The Fabian Society Clubhouse will be in deep meetings. Oh, yes. All nice and sensible. Do we believe they will be tried for treason? Well, probably not, to be fair. Not treason as such. You know, I use treason as an umbrella term. But there are many people that are that have failed in public office, dereliction of duty, deliberately acting outside the best interest of the public. All that sort of stuff is illegal. And I really hope there are a lot of police officers up and down the country, a lot of high-ranking police officers up and down the country, a lot of council officials up and down the country that are actually starting to shit themselves. Because I'll tell you what, like I said, this is all going to come out. It might take a long time. Some of it will come out quicker than others. But we just need to make sure that we keep on and on and on, and we do not stop. We never stop. And if one of us gets taken down, the next one must step forward, because we must not let these people get away with what they've done. Turning a blind eye for the sake of cultural cohesion. Yeah, right. Yeah. Starmer is a dead man walking. God help us if Lammy or Rainer get it. The small case letters are meant as an insult. I'm a big Trump fan, but disappointed with him not stopping the Chagos deal. Look, at the end of the day, I'm disappointed with everyone, to be honest with you. I mean, I just want to see, I mean, like, I'm not a political analyst, a professional political analyst. I don't sit there all day and all night reading about anyone and everything, from Peter Mandleson to Jeffrey Epstein to Donald Trump to Steve Bannon to Tommy Robinson. I don't sit there. Like I said earlier on, I see what I see in front of me and I try and deal with that. And what I do see is a lot of insanity. And yeah, I'm disappointed that over a lot of things, but we have to accept it, take it on the chin and move on. But as people, the one thing that we can do is make sure that we demand justice. Thank God for Rupert. Yeah, I mean, grand job. Can't go along with some of the things he's been saying politically, but I'll always support him for what he's doing. Great man. Yeah, Starmer believes he's always the victim. It's a typical lefty trait. It's their default. Absolutely. The elite will never be brought to justice. Well, I tell you now, they won't be brought to justice under Nigel Farage. I guarantee you that. But this is why not just the big house, look in the schools, absolutely, teachers as well, yeah. Alan, my experience started before Starmer's Labour regime in our Labour-controlled undemocratic council under Conservatives. The Starmer dictatorship therefore comes as no surprise. Jackie, thank you, Jackie. It's down to us to change things for our kids. I can't bear the thought of leaving this planet without trying. Paul, you do more than you think, love. Yeah, for that. Thank you, Jackie. I really appreciate that. I wish I could do more, but sometimes you run out of ideas, right? More peace and less corruption, yeah. Nigel Farage, thank you. Mahmood tells Select Committee today, no guarantees that small boat arrivals will decrease by next year and long-term planning required. I tell you the only long-term planning that's required, right? You pick up the phone to the commander of the Royal Navy and you say, Jeff, or whatever his name is, Fred, see them small dinghies? No more. Go out in the channel, and if you see one, pick it up and drop it back in French waters. Job done. Finished. One word. No. There you go. Solve Shabana. East HR, up your jacksie. What are you going to do? What's the ECHR going to do? What are they going to do? They're going to send a fleet of boats, send the fleet of their own boats to take over the country. The country's been goddamn taken over anyway. What have we got to lose? Tell them no, Shabana Mahmood. One word, N-O. Very, very simple. Paul, you're right. They have to be gone soon. They will have to be gone soon. This cannot carry on. Queen Vic says, I can't see them gone soon. You know, there's something to say for that as well. They still got their huge majority. But I tell you what, there is one way. How about this for a suggestion? And I pray to God we've got a Labour MP watching this tonight, or a Labour MP gets to see this. There's one way out for you scoundrels, you utter scumbags, right? There's one way out of this for you that would go some way to redeeming your actions for voting against the child grooming gang inquiry. A mass vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister that would force a general election. Could we have a deal? Of course not. You know why? Because you will cling on to your job and your bit of power until we drag you out screaming. What this must be, the death of the Labour Party. And there will be positives that come out of this. This is the end of the Labour Party, probably in most of our lifetimes. They may be able to resurrect themselves 20, 30 years down the line when most of us are dead and gone and, you know, time heals all wounds, right? Same goes for the Tories, but they're done now, aren't they? They're done. And the union leaders, the hard left union, rotten union leaders, the lefty union leaders have got to try and get their claws into someone else now, haven't they? Because Labour are done. They are finished forever. The Wizard's Words, whose channel I will be appearing on very shortly. The investigations will take years. Just saying, Mandleson will be long dead before they charge him or find him guilty. I think the weight of public opinion and also Starmer's need to find himself a fall guy, we'll see. You may be right. Wait until you see what's being exposed by Andrew Bridgen, re Chagos Islands, Foxy YouTube. Thank you very much, Patricia. Both Advance and Reform should have a manifesto prepared. We want to know exactly what we're voting for. Well, that all starts on Saturday, 12:30, live on this channel. I will be guiding you through and with the entire live stream from the Advance UK event in central London at the weekend. I think you are hopefully going to enjoy every moment of that. There will be guests on the show, guest speakers at the event, the restoration, culture and immigration policy being unveiled, not only on this channel, on other channels as well. But join me on Saturday from 12:30. We'll have a little bit of a warm-up. Silver Fox, watch his content today. Thank you, Andrew. We need fair, clear laws from good, honest leadership. Brown and Blair need Blair and Brown need investigating. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Justice is coming. It has to come, and it will come. Look at the Hillsborough disaster, for an example. Look how many years it took. And probably many members, family members of the Hillsborough incident may say they still haven't got justice, but there's been justice of sorts. A lot of truths have been told. But this is huge. What they have done to this country is huge. You only got to look at the comments, you know, that this government is making us all suffer, out. Thank you very much, Elaine. Appreciate that. George, thank you, George. George plus Dragon. Chin up, Paul. I know it's hard for you, but for you out there, do a phone in and we'll cheer you up, mate. Take care. Loads of love. Advance UK forever. Cheers, George. Yeah, I'll be doing another phone in before too long. I thought about it tonight, but I thought I wanted to, you know, get this stuff off my chest and try and put a little bit of positivity out there in respect that this cannot go on forever. And we are getting closer and closer now. You can almost feel it. You can touch it almost. You can certainly smell it. Labour are on their way out. And when they go, they're gone forever. We cannot let these people do what they've done and let them get away with it. The job isn't done when they go. That's just the start of the beginning for us. That's what we've got to ensure. We've got to follow this up. Nigel Farage, Starmer gets a round of applause today for labelling British as judging immigrants by their skin. Yeah, I've heard about that one. I haven't actually seen the speech yet. I need to get around to that. Ish, thank you. Dan Warren's day will result in people leaving Reform. Yeah, look, we're where we are in a mess, and because what we don't have one conciliatory place where we can all get together and group and unite around. Reform offered us at the beginning our greatest chance. But sadly took that away from us very quickly. And we must keep the pressure on them. We must keep the pressure up, because if Nigel Farage was elected as the new Prime Minister, he needs to walk into 10 Downing Street knowing that he is on very thin ice with the population, that he has got to deliver, or his fate will be no different from anyone else's. He's going to be gone. I don't think he's up to the job personally. I don't think he's up to the challenge. I don't think he has the will, and I don't actually believe that he means a lot of what he says. He's another very good politician. So I have very little faith in Nigel Farage or Reform to deliver what we need, and what we need is mass deportations. You know, my line has hardened on this over the years. You know, at one time I thought we could just about save the country without mass deportations. I'm not talking about just the illegals now. That goes without saying. The illegals have got to go. Every single last one of them need to go. But we also need now to start deporting people that have broken the law, people that weren't born here, non-Indigenous British people. It's a shame we can't deport some of our own scumbags somewhere. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't care really where you come from. If you're a complete wanker, you're a complete wanker, right? I'd like to see the back of you. Unfortunately, there's nowhere else to send our own, but there is somewhere else to send those that aren't our own. And they got to go too. There's no ifs or buts. I mean, I'm out here in Spain on a 3-year visa. If I break the law, my visa is revoked and they will remove me. It's very simple. They're not going to, you know, put me in jail and give me a nice cup of tea and a breakfast and a lunch and dinner every day. They just oink you out. You know, you might have to serve your sentence, but once that's done, bump, elbow, you're gone. Abracha, I don't usually watch talk radio, but watched Alex Phillips tonight, Paul. Heartbreaking. She is at her wit's end, and for the same reasons most of us are. Honestly, Paul, it's very sad. I agree. I agree. And I've got a lot of time for Alex Phillips. You know, we used to exchange messages. That has ceased since my defection from trying to support advance to, trying to support reform to advance. Now I'm a member of advance. Those messages have stopped because Alex is, I think, a big Nigel Farage and reform supporter. And I have a lot of respect for Alex, but my question to her is, do you believe that Nigel Farage will do the aforementioned? Do you believe that Nigel Farage will deport foreign criminals? Because I don't. Do you believe Nigel Farage will stop the boats the day he walks into number 10? Because I don't. Do you believe that he will start mass deportations of the illegals that are already here the day he walks through number 10? I don't believe he will. Do you believe that he'll take us away from the ECHR? I'm not entirely sure. But I do believe that Ben Habib would do all of those things. And I don't want to, I'm not going to turn this into a party political broadcast for Advance UK this evening, but that is my belief. Just the same as Alex believes that Nigel Farage is the right man for the job. I would say that Alex Phillips and myself probably have very similar outlooks to most things in life, but maybe she's a bit more optimistic than me. Maybe she knows more than me. It's very likely. I mean, she knows Farage well, so she'll know him better than me. I've never met the guy. But I know plenty of people that have. Yeah, London Kane. What about the Labour mayor who helped hide evidence after her son was arrested for the rape of a 15-year-old girl? Look, we know what these people are, right? We know what these people are. It's caused hopelessness and depression for many of us. Yeah. You know, look, we have just under 1,800 people watching right now, and you've only got to look at the comments that are coming through here this evening. You know, this is a very small test, isn't it? It's a very small straw poll. What has Labour done to the mental health of this country? I can't make up these comments. I'm not sitting here with another computer next to me with a load of different usernames typing in fake comments. These are all genuine comments from genuine people. So if this is a small sample of how the nation is feeling, Christ, no wonder we're in a mess. Timeless Explorer Assistant. Listen to Tuesday podcast. Starmer protecting the IRGC in the UK. They have well over £100 million of property in London. I'll tell you what, I bet they got a lot more than that. Yeah, it's a good point. Unfortunately, no, a lot of us old ones have a shelf life of 30 years. I'd like to think I've got half that. They know that they can erase, delete, redact our screams for justice. They've done it already with COVID. I feel like I'm in fight or flight mode all the time. Queen Vic, 8. I've never hated a government so much as Labour. Look, as I said earlier on, my wife come home, bless her, from the UK. She's been back to see her mother and father. Who are both in their 90s now. She's come back this afternoon, and I said, what was it like? She said, the weather was grey, it's miserable, it's raining, it's dirty, blah, blah, blah. And she looked at me and she went, but it's still home. And she's right. She's right. It's still our home, our beloved home. And this is what this government has done, driven thousands and thousands and thousands of good, honest, hard-working, tax-paying Brits have left the UK because they simply can't take any more of Starmer's jackboot. Dan, thank you. Ish, Dan was defending Tommy after Reform's latest interview on BBC, telling lies about Tommy again. Lots of comments of Reform members joining Advance. Yeah, that was I'm trying to remember the Reform MP's name. He's the ex-Tory, and he's my mind. I just can't remember him tonight. Kenny, band cousin marriage. Yeah, well, that would be a start, wouldn't it? Sheila Miller. Paul, thank you, Sheila. Paul, Bess having trouble getting her channel linked to in it. It's Best of Best Black. Right, I want to find that. Let me just write that down because I want to try and promote her channel for her. Guys, nip over and subscribe to, so it's at Best Black. Let me just write this down, BB. Right, let me try and find that because I want to subscribe. I want to get other people over there subscribed. Thank you. Appreciate that, Shill. Thank you. Cole, I've got to say, unfortunately, Reform are the best of a bad bunch. Look, being utterly grown up and utterly truthful with you about it, yeah, I can go along with that. If the general election was tomorrow, we would all have to seriously consider where we put our little X in the box, wouldn't we? But the bottom line is, we need an alternative if and when it all goes wrong for Reform, and I believe that it will. Even if it didn't, we need to put a hell of a lot of pressure on these people to do what they promise, because guess what? And I'll whisper it quietly. Do you know what? Politicians tend to lie and tend not to keep their promises. So we have a big job to do, don't we? There you go. See, Paul, Reform won't do it, though. Even at the darts, they hate him. Yeah, I heard that. Can you imagine the sheer obliteration that Labour would experience if there was a general election tomorrow? Can you even imagine what would be left of the Labour Party? Yes, Paul, live in fear, living on my own and for my family and my darling loyal dog who is in as much peril as we are. Maudie, God bless you. God bless your dog there. I mean, the thing about dogs the other day just about sums up the whole situation. As a dog-loving nation, as a dog lover, as an animal lover myself, never mind dogs, but as a general a person that respects animals' lives as much as I respect humans' lives, in some respects even more, as crazy as that might sound. To think that we've got to the point now where they're actually trying to attack our dogs, not physically. I don't mean attack them as in with a stick. I mean, you know, attack their freedoms, and they don't want them in parks. They don't want to see them because they see them as dirty. How did we get there? How did we get there? Susan, it's all being exposed. God is on the case. Stay close to him. Thank you, Susan. Harmer and Starmer, a match made in hell. Yeah, I'm gonna. Don't forget, guys. At Best Black BB, and the channel is called Best of Bess. So either one of those, hopefully, will take you through to the channel. Going back to Kenny's message, band cousin marriage. I think one of the ways that we can resolve this in many respects is by banning halal meat. By banning it, completely banning it from the UK, and then people have got a choice, haven't they? Halal meat plays no role in our society. You could say the same for kosher meat, in all honesty. The only difference is that the kosher meat and the kosher eating community aren't causing us the problems that the halal eating community potentially cause us. But that's another story, and I'm sure that there's a few people, particularly recently, coming out of the woodwork that would disagree with that. Andy, Yorkshire, if Starmer goes, who will replace him? Lammy, Miliband, Rayner? Well, it won't be Miliband. I don't think it will be Lammy because he can't even add up. I think it will be Rayner. She's got yeah. I think it will be Rayner. I think she's a very manipulative person. And I think she knows how to win people over if they're like-minded like her. You've seen her in action with the Islamic community. Mandy, good Paul, when you speak from the heart, sometimes really concerned for my grandkids' safety, my beautiful grandkids' safety, absolutely. Thank you, Tika. Appreciate that. Yep, jowl time, baby. That's where they belong, a lot of them. Thank you, Kaza. And when I say that a lot of these people belong in jail, I just want to say that as a believer, complete and utter believer in democracy and justice, I wouldn't just want to knock on their doors and throw them in jail. I know some of you might, but I wouldn't want to do that. I'd want to give them a fair trial, the fair trial that Lammy wants to take away from everyone else. Again, I mean, look at that. This is where you get into bad dream territory, isn't it? Taking away the right to a fair trial. Bad dream territory. Absolutely outrageous. Right, guys, I'm going to call it a night for tonight. I am an hour in front of you, as you may well know. If you haven't already done so, please hit the upvote for me. That would be really very much appreciated. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you do. And if you could do me a little favour, maybe share my videos with one of your friends, get them to subscribe, because YouTube have been ripping the life out of my channel over the last 28 days in particular. For the first time in my entire YouTube career, which started way back properly in 2017, I've lost more subscribers this month than I have gained. That has never, ever happened before. And now what that tells me is that YouTube are only showing my videos to my old audience at very best, and are certainly not showing anyone new and giving people the chance that have never seen my channel before to subscribe to it. So I'm currently relying on my old viewers and not any new viewers, which is absolutely unfair and outrageous. But it is what it is. But you guys can help me perhaps with that. Jack, what happened to Lucy Connolly MP Lynch unfortunately would have still happened under the Tories, as they plan to do the same thing as Labour. Possibly, Jack. I don't think it would myself, but possibly you may be right. Just trying to see. Yeah, poor Rhiannon. Yeah, have you seen her mum? I mean, it just shocking. Just shocking. Right, we will call it a night. Thank you, as I say, so much for joining me. Don't forget to join me Saturday, 12:30 midday. We will be going live just after midday for the Advanced UK unveil of the culture, restoration and immigration policies. Look forward to that one. I'll be with you at 12:30. The event starts at 1 p.m. We will be in the chat, as always, live together during the day, where you can ask me questions and we can talk and listen to the event as it happens. Right, have a magnificent rest of the week. Hope you are all well, and I will see you all soon. Take care, everyone.